Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 39 of the Ashton Gate 8 with me, Ringo FM. Next update episode, as I said, I think I found the format, the formula, rather than like live coming every game or talking about X, Y, and Z. The best way of doing it is quick update. Where are we at? Let's talk about debuts. Let's talk about the youth players, and let's update the 8. And the 8 has been updated. You can see Dean Davies is firmly planted in there now, and you will see why a little bit later on in this video. But let's talk about the lay of the land. Let's see how we've been getting on. And it's been very good since we last left off. We went a long time without losing a game. We went 22 matches unbeaten before we finally lost to Aston Villa. Jacob Ramsey, one of their youth players, well, not youth players anymore, but one of their youth players getting the goal to sink us there. And then you can see we actually lost in the FA Cup quarter-final to Oxford United. We were flying. We were in total control of the match. They scored twice in the space of a minute and then once at the end of the first half of extra time. It was rotten, this game. Diogo Jota on a 6.1. It was just one of those games. Restas had a poor game. There was not really much we could do. It was just horrific. So, yeah, that's how that went. You'll see we are in the quarter-final of the Europa League, so we are still flying in that. We have entered the Conference League for next season, and that is because we won the Carabao Cup. We won the Carabao Cup, and this is why we have now got Dean Davies as part of the 8. We said we wanted it to be like players who win trophies with us and whatnot. Look at the top right. Dean Davies scored in the 88th and 89th minute. We were 3-1 down in this final. Dimitro Bobrov came on, equalised, and then got assists for Dean Davies for this. So, I mean, I'd be a fool for not showing you this. Dean Davies won us. He won us the Carabao Cup, to be honest. So the goals loading now. Then we'll drop it down slightly. That was their first goal. That was Kev from Toram. We could not defend corners to save our lives in this match. And what I ended up doing, I'll show you him in a moment. We basically scored like 3 of this goal, but there's Bungard to make it 1-1. What we did was at one point, because we couldn't defend corners, Coyote was playing, and they kept targeting Coyote's like marking area. We went to the inverted fullback thing and brought in a lad that we've signed, and I'll show you him in a second. But you'll see they basically targeted us off every set piece. Michael Coyote's at this near post, and they kept aiming for him. So if you watch Anthony ball in, Coyote misses his header, Hoyland scores twice. That's 2 goals they'd scored off doing that. And then obviously that made it 2-1. That now made it 3-0 into the area. Bobrov is there into the back post. We win it. It's all over the place. It's a bit of a mess. Ruben Neves scores an absolute banger of a goal to put United 3-1 off. And then we brought on Dimitro Bobrov and Dean Davies to play up front. Pedrosa went into the right wing back slot. This guy Smith is the new centre-back. I'll show you him in a minute. And then Branthwaite was the third. So there's your 3. Here's your 2. There's your left wing-back and Frith and Riascos as a DM. You've got Bidstrup as a DM. You've got Bobrov, Dango, Davies and Shelderup. Yeah, just watch this. Watch this. So that's headed away. Riascos is there. Plays it through to Bobrov. This is fantastic by Bobrov. Look at that turn. Quick turn of pace. Gets himself in. Bit lucky, takes a deflection, but he got us in. That was 3-2, and then he just hit another level, Bobrov. This was off a long clearance. We're trying to build something. Sheldrup is just fantastic on that side. What a touch by Dean Davies, by the way. That touch is sensational. He's 16, and then that was his goal in the 87th, and then that made it 3-3, and here comes the winner, Dango Utara, doing what he does best, creating things, Shelderup through to Bobrov. Bobrov, so unselfish, plays it across the box, and Dean Davies, 16-year-old Dean Davies, is now etched forever in the Ashton Gate 8 list. I just think this lad is probably the best youth prospect we're going to get through in the entire save, to be honest. He's still got 5 stars of potential. When he comes in, he performs at a first-team level. In the Carabao Cup, he scored 2 goals in that. In the FA Cup, 2 appearances, 2 goals. Non-competitive, he's doing well. He's capped at under 19 level for England. He's just getting better all the time. His quickness has gone up. His pace has gone up by 3. His acceleration's already gone up by 2. His dribbling's gone up. His finishing stayed the same. he's just getting better and better and better. Like, what a player. Definitely deserves a place in the 8. And like I said, quarter-final of the Europa League. The first we qualified quite quickly. We flew through the group. We drew that one game against Ghent. Every other game we won. The game against Ludogorets, Andreas Sheldrup just turned into like prime Cristiano Ronaldo and tore Ludogorets apart. And we ended up in the round of 16. And in the round of 16, we drew Vitoria Guimarães and we blew them out the water 3-1 on aggregate. We now have a quarter-final, which has not been drawn yet. There's a couple of good teams in there. Ajax, Copenhagen, Napoli. We obviously beat both Copenhagen and Napoli in the league phase. Manchester United are in there. Rennes, however you want to say it. Valencia. I think we're probably in like quite a good position to win the whole thing overall. The squad's amazing. We're still rotating people in. It just is what it is. I would have liked to have won the FA Cup. I think that's the aim for next year. We've won back-to-back Carabao Cups now. Let's move on from the Carabao. That was just a circumstance. I mean, we're second in the league. We're on 63 points, 6 points behind Chelsea with 2 games in hand. So there's a potential that we could win the league. I don't think we will. It'll probably end up with what happened after we won the Carabao last time. We'll tail off. And obviously this time we've got the added incentive that we've got Europa League games to play. But it's also an added hindrance because it means we've got to rotate more because we've got more games to play. And the players who have been absolutely performing, Ethan Ayala, Ben Doak, and Andreas Sheldrup across all competitions have all got 11 assists each. Philip Bungard is the top goal scorer for us with 19 goals. He's got 16 in the Premier League with 7 assists, 19 in total with 10 assists. What a player. £15 million we paid for this lad. And each season, he's basically like double his goal tally. His assists have always been fantastic. What a fantastic player he's turned out to be. We are rotating an awful lot. If we look at the player stats, can we have a look? Where'd you find it now? I want to have a look at league table. Stats, team detail, team overview. Can I look specifically at us? I mean, we are top with the most goals. Corner goals, 10. Liverpool with 13 corner goals. Goodness me. Most goals. Is it in player details or player overview then? Let's have a little look. Can we see? There's a lot of outlying. Expected goals, here we go. So here's one. Expected goals, Philip Bungard. An XG of 7.8. He scored 16. This lad can finish. Junior Creepy has got an XG of 3.31. He scored 8. Lorenzo Luca, 3.25, has scored 6 goals. Expected goals underperformance, any of ours in there, only really Ben Doak. He doesn't score an awful lot, so that's fine. Conversion rate, we've got Luca, Bungard and Creepy, who are all near the 50% mark. Jamie Donnelly, what a player he's turned into. That lad can finish, can't he? Goodness me. Let's have a look at player overview then. Can we see most goals? Can we see a full list? We've got 2 in there. Creepy with 8. We've got Philip Bungard in there with 16. And we want to look at it in the Europa League, really, don't we? Can we have a look? Player overview in the Europa League. I mean, some of these stats are just unbelievable. Most goals in there. We do have 2 within the top 10. There's a lot of joints. We've got Dimitro Bobrov, who has scored 5 goals from 8 appearances, 4 off the bench, 4 starts from 11 shots. It said we had 2 players in there. It must be joint 13th. The other one is Ethan Ayala. I know he scored an awful lot. Crosses completed, Ben Doak, 26. Crosses attempted, 113. We do complete a lot of crosses. We get that ball in there. Guilherme Restes, 100% save percentage when he's played in the Europa League. That's ridiculous from Guillermo Restes. Expected assists per 90 minutes, nearly 1 per 90 minutes for Ben Doak. Key passes, Ben Doak. Key passes, Andreas Sheldrup. Most free kick goals, Andreas Sheldrup. Most chances created, Ben Doak. I think we're the best team in the competition. I really, really do. And speaking of Andreas Sheldrup, he's getting along well, but we're developing the individual trait of his long-range free kick taken. He is scoring some unbelievable goals. His current ability is waning a bit because he was originally and naturally an inside forward. We are now training him as an advanced playmaker. 11 goals and 11 assists in all competitions. Like, Mason Greenwood, eat your heart out, mate. I don't think he ever put numbers up like that. Mason Greenwood, again, I justify it to you all the time, but, you know, I think I am entirely justified. What else has been going on? Alex Scott has a bit of an injury, but is now wanted by Real Madrid, and they've got very firm interest in Alex Scott. Carlo Ancelotti is coming for Alex Scott, and to be honest with you, it's in the same boat as Charlie Patino was. If somebody comes in, we'll let him go. This year in the Premier League, he's not been amazing. He's been pretty average, 6.8, 1 goal, 2 assists. He did pick up an injury recently as well, which meant that our good boy Trev, who has now signed a new contract, had to play the majority of games. He's 6.74, 1 goal, 1 assist. His form, there you go. You can see all these games he ended up pretty much starting. It was around this mark. So from Salford onwards, he just started most of the games. He's not been amazing. There's been some games he's been great. There's been some games he's been a little bit off the boil. But we do obviously have Mads Bidstrup there. But the idea is obviously we want to rotate and get these young lads in the team. And that's what we have been doing. There's been a lot of the younger players are playing. Ethan Ayala is one. Charlie Frith, Ewan Yetton, a couple of more signings. Let's talk about them in just a second. Suma came back from his injury. Look at this. Really unlucky. Broke his ankle, was out for 3 months. Then tore the ankle ligaments on his left ankle the day he came back into full training in an under-21s game against Hull. So he's become quite injury prone, and it's a bit of a concern, but we need to keep an eye on Suma. But then a couple of the other younger lads like Murashima, he's played a few games now. He started scoring. He's looking good still. He's never going to be amazing, but you know he's a good rotation option. And there's a couple of lads who have now made their debuts. Miles Hetzker, he came on in the Europa League and the FA Cup. He's looking quite good, isn't he? I think when he becomes a 2-star player, there'll be a few clubs in for him. Ross Bridges, he also made his first team debut. A young lad from Bristol. He came on in the Europa League and actually did quite a good performance. He's like an advanced playmaker on that side, so it allows us to do like for Sheldrup. Oscar Graham obviously made his debut before. You saw that too. Who else did? There was somebody else. Obviously, Vincent Ibrahim has already made his. Daniel Park has made his. And within the under-18s, we have had a youth intake, and you're going to see some of them in here. You can still see that a few of them are literally on trial still. I'm going to pause it, actually, so you don't see them. I'm not going to let you see them. I'm going to show you them separately. Obviously, Dean Davies has made his debut in the FA Cup, and the Carabao Cup is probably pushing for some sort of league game soon. But again, I don't want to put him in too much because he's only 16. We don't want to play him too much. Abdul Aduro made his debut coming on at centre-back in the FA Cup game against Oxford. Obviously, we lost that game, so he didn't have too good of a debut. And it all leads into what the long-term aim of the save is and what the board and the supporters want. A+ on the board, A+ with the supporters. They're happy with what we're doing, but more importantly, develop players, a philosophy onwards. Develop players using the club's youth system, a philosophy under which it is expected that a reasonable number of club-developed players become active members of the first-team squad. They are pleased. The opportunities afforded to the club's young footballers have been pleasing and should prove to be of major benefit in the long term. I agree with you, Mr. Lansdowne, and that is going to bring us now nicely onto the under-18s, the youth candidates that have come in. But before we do that, we're going to have a little look at the club info and at the affiliates, because what we've now done, we have got Laval over in France and Defensor Sporting, who, not so much Laval, Defensor Sporting, people who play the game will know, have got probably the best youth academy. Look at this youth recruitment. the best, and the youth facilities, the best youth recruitment in Uruguay. We've had them in, so they may send players, academy players, to train at Bristol to gain experience. Bristol City may benefit with some of these coming through their youth ranks. It's happened already. We set this up November. And come March, there is a Uruguayan in there. I will show you him in a second. These are the guys that we've decided to sign. You will notice the professional. A lot of the personalities are very good. We brought in Crane. He played quite well in the youth team game. He's left-footed. He's a winger by trade. I'm trying to train him out on the right wing, but he looks like he'll be okay. Sammy Viney, a young right back. We signed him because he can cross. Physically and mentally at this age is fantastic. His personality is professional. He's got 10 crossing. And those who play the game a lot will know that you don't get new gens who can cross the ball. So Sammy Viney has been signed. We have also offered a contract to Tom Donnelly. He is, again, a professional player, a deep lying playmaker, can play in this midfield role. We obviously play deep lying playmakers. Technically and mentally is fantastic already. Physically is waning a little bit, but I do like the look of Tom Donnelly, so he is coming in. Monday Okoro, a centre-back, 6 foot. Again, a good personality. He can tackle, he's aggressive. Physically, he's quite good. Mentally, he's pretty much all 10s, apart from like off the ball, which he doesn't need. He's 10s or above at the age of 15, is 6 foot. He'll get taller. Mentally, will get better. Physically, he's already very good, so we took a chance on him. Ken Conlon, a tireless midfielder, a proper ball winner. We obviously originally started the save with a ball winner. He's come in, he's getting trained as a ball winner midfielder on support. I think the under-18s, this crop of players coming through have just been absolutely fantastic. And then Chris Butler, another centre-back, 6'2", fickle personality, but we will get him, maybe not quite yet, but we will get him sort of training with the first team just so he can get that personality trained out of him. The star man in this we will look at now, it's Richard Riley. His contract hasn't been accepted yet. He is a winger. It's saying that he's a striker. I don't really think he is. He could potentially become one. Where did he play in the youth team game? He played as an inside forward. I don't know. It did say that there was 2 strikers. He's obviously one of them, and Ferreira's the other one. But I do like the look of Richard Riley. He's dubbed the new Michael Owen. He's a small lad. He's 5'6", 5'5", Richard Riley. 5'10". Ignore me. Yeah. We'll probably train him as a forward because we are quite blessed out wide in the under-18s. But, I mean, fantastic dribbling, first touch, passing technique, flair, determination. He's really creative as a forward, isn't he? Potentially a false 9. Potentially. Means he doesn't need to use his finishing. Junior Krupi as a false 9 has been unbelievable. So, Richard Riley waiting for his contract to come through. And then the culmination of our work in trying to get the youth recruitment better and using affiliates, it's Rodrigo Ferreira, who has already signed. I was trying to look on his biography because it does normally say like he started in Defensor. There's no way we've brought a Uruguayan lad in without that link. It doesn't make sense. But he's professional. He's already got a couple of traits. He dives into tackles. He runs with the ball down the right. Every time I record, someone knocks or calls. Every time, without fail. So yeah, pressing forward, Rodrigo Ferreira. We played with the pressing forward. It's not a role that a lot of people have used a lot. I've seen a few people say like it doesn't really work, doesn't do much. They score more as an advance forward, whatever. Philip Bungard is an out-and-out pressing forward for us, and oddly enough, we are trying to train him. We were trying to train him. The injury must have stopped it. To dive into tackles, he's nice and aggressive. He doesn't need to be able to tackle. That's just their ability to win it. Their aggression is their willingness to get stuck in, and pressing forward with dives into tackles is going to be an absolute pig. He's got really good work rate, really good teamwork. He's creative as well. Like, this lad is a good player. Rodrigo Ferreira, 6 foot tall, professional personality. He's going to be some lad. I've just tried to get the runs down the ball with the right trained out of him. He doesn't need that. He doesn't need that at all. He's not playing the right-hand side, so, he doesn't have a side preference. Doesn't make sense for him to have runs with the ball down the right. So, yeah, we're just the fruits of our labour. That's what I'm going to say. It's the fruits of our labour. It's come in. The young players are helping out in the cup competitions. We've got young lads coming through. Let's have a little look now at the under-18s to see if we can push up to the under-21s. And let's have a look at the under-21s for players that we're probably going to try and move on or promote into the first team. If we can promote people to the first team, is there any first team players we can move on? So the lay of the land in the under-18s, we do try and promote all of like the 19, 20, whatever year olds. Facundo Candia. Why is he able to play for the under-18s? That's strange. Jordan Maton will be one that we need to move. Oh, he's already there. Okay. We'll wait until they're back. But Rodrigo Ferreira and Dean Davies, now that looks like it's got the potential to be a bit of a formidable strike force, and this is where I don't really know what to do with Richard Riley. Obviously, we do normally play with an inside forward. If it's not an advanced playmaker, he can play winger, he can play inverted winger. They're saying he's naturally a forward. I don't know. I think maybe inside forward or maybe false nine for him. I'm not sure what to do with him yet, but we've basically got three very good attackers. Miles Hetzker, who obviously made an appearance for the first team, has played 51 games in non-competitive football. That is because he is set to available for the under-18s. I don't think that's needed now. Let's take that away from him because we do have other players in there. So now Miles Hetzker is purely in the under-21s. Diego Liel is obviously out on loan at the moment. At Coventry, hasn't done fantastic, but he's got experience and it's allowed him to get a little bit better. So he will not be available for the under-18s when he comes back from his loan. Facundo Candia is another one. We will probably move Facundo Candia on. He's only made 4 appearances for Wrexham. Wasn't a massive outlay. He was 2 mil. He only made 12 appearances for West Brom. Didn't do anything there. Made 4 appearances off the bench for Wrexham. Who, let's see, how are they getting on actually? How are Wrexham getting on? Mid-table. Who's Trevor Paul? Wowie. Trevor Paul looks incredible. I don't player search. I only do players who've been scouted. Goodness me. Holy shit, he's amazing. Anyway, Wrexham are mid-table. He's not really featuring for them. He's not good enough to be for us, to be honest with you. I'm going to transfer list him now so I don't forget to do it. So Facundo Candia will be one we move out. Chris Butler is the young lad, the young centre-back, 16 years of age. Yes, he will absolutely be a starting player for the under-18s going forward. Ken Conlon is going to be the ball-winning midfielder. We've got Lee Gilbert in there. He's been called up to the first team squad a few times, but not really done anything. Diminutive winger. If you look at his form for the under-18s, he doesn't play an awful lot. He's not great, but, you know, it is what it is. He will stay there. Gethin Lewis, again, he's one who's been called up a few times. We've not used him yet. His form, he plays normally as an inside forward on this side. Fine. Are we trading him as that? We're not. We're not trading him as anything, so we update that. And this is why I always tend to look at this as much as possible. Abdullah Duro is 17 now. When will he be 18? He'll be 18 in November. So that is fine. He can stay in the under-18s for the season. Hopefully he can form a decent centre-back partnership with Chris Butler. Monday Okora was only 15, so he absolutely will stay with the under-18s. Kevin Peters, young midfielder. His potential's improved. He's now a championship-level midfielder. He is 18 next year. He's recently turned 17. Kevin Peters, ball-winning midfielder. We'll keep him there. He's only 17. That's fine. Has he been playing as a ball-winning midfielder? That's what I want to know. Deep-line playmaker or ball-winner. He's had a bit of a mixed bag, but now we've got an actual deep-line playmaker. It should be fine. Thomas Simpson is another one who got called up at one stage. He looks good. He has picked up an injury. They do think he could be as good as Diogo Jota out on that right-hand side. I think he's more of a winger than anything else. Winger support on the right-hand side. Where's he been playing? Winger support on the right-hand side. I agree with that. So Thomas Simpson. Phil Worsfold, a good goalkeeper. We tend to get a lot of good goalkeepers through. Herbie Yetton will be moved straight to the under-21s when he comes back from his loan. He's not had a successful loan either, has he? Tom Donnelly's obviously coming in. Toby Curran He will be 19 in November. So from the start of next season, he should probably move to the under-21s from the start of next season. Tom Donnelly's coming in. We've got Christian Kloivan, who I like him, I like Christopher Kloivan. He's a Norwegian lad out on the left-hand side there. He does normally play as like that inside forward, but he can play out on the right. We did have him training as a winger on the right-hand side. I actually quite like him, to be completely honest with you. So we'll keep him around. He will be 18 next season. So actually, if you think about it, the under-18s are in pretty good position. Sammy Viney, obviously the young right back with a lovely afro. Yeah, we'll keep him trading as right back. So the under-21s then, this is where you're going to see some of the transfers. Renato is one we brought in. Says an enthusiastic centre-back. He's 6'1", he's driven, he's either a defensive midfielder or like a libero type player. We're actually training him to be a wing-back on this side, and it's working quite well. He's been doing it fairly recently for the under-21s. All his games for the under-21s, he's been doing it. Has got himself a couple of assists in that time. I like him. He's made his debut as well. He was £9 million from Flamengo, but I thought that was a good that was a good deal, good value for money. Brennan Hatswell will probably make the first team next year. If not, he will get a loan. We have obviously got another centre-back in, which you will see why in a moment. He's very good. Jordan Moore will be 21 when he comes back from his loan at Burton. Has played 29 games, 35 games in total. Still looks okay. Maybe we'll give him another loan. Maybe. We're still not sure what we're going to do on the right-back situation. Felix Berg, we did give him a new contract. I just don't think he's ever really going to develop. He's very good. I do like the look of him. He could probably develop, but not in my team, I don't think. So we'll probably look to move Felix Berg on. Ross Bridges, again, he's only 17, so that's fine. He can knock around a bit longer. Jordan Cully, similar for him. We need a loan for Oscar Graham. He's looking better and better. Obviously, recently made his debut. Gary Hobbs is already out on loan at Exeter and is having quite a good season. He's only conceded 3 more goals than games he's played. He's got 11 clean sheets in League 2 for Exeter. And if we click on League 2, we will see that Exeter are doing very well. So a potential promotion on the cards for him. Burton is so close to getting relegated. That's insane. That would have been back-to-back relegations. Lelujo would never. Jordan Matum, we've already spoke about him. Marvin Phillips, he needs a loan. He's another good young goalkeeper. And then we've got players like Kieran Williams, who has gone out on loan. I don't know about him. He's done okay in League 2. Nothing amazing. Maybe we cash in on him. He's 20 now. Jordan Adebenro, he picked up an injury. He was doing very well for Burton before that, and then he picked up pretty much what was a season-ending injury, but he has come back a little bit earlier. You can just see, though, he's not doing great, but he is still playing. David Bartley, young winger, I think probably close to first team level already. We did transfer list them back in the summer and no one wanted him. He's since gone on loan to Rochdale, and you know what? I actually think he looks all right. I do think he looks right. Knocks the ball past the opponent, runs to the ball often. I do like the look of him, so we'll probably keep him around now. Let's just take him off the transfer list, and we'll see how he develops. He might be worth having around the first team, as might Alex Baird, who has gone on loan to Laval, the French team. 21, he'll be 22 by the time he's back for next season. So, yeah, I don't know about him. He's only made 2 appearances for them. If we look at Laval, he's played as an inside forward on both occasions, not really set the world alight. But, you know, he's not been there long. He signed on deadline day. Colin Bridgewater is now wanted by Watford. He looked okay. He came in from Arsenal. He looked okay and has since not really pressed on. So we are going to transfer list him, and hopefully Watford come in for him, make a bit of money on that. Adrian Evans, out on loan as well. Not as good as the 3 other goalkeepers we've got. He came in from Man City. He's down at Port Vale, who are in non-league now. Doing okay. Nothing fantastic. We'll probably try and cash in on him. We're already trying to cash in on Kieran Healing. Ben Hercher has gone on loan now. He's gone to Bochum in Germany. He will not be with us. We will try and get rid of him. He was the failed right back experiment. Yeah, I can't really say much more other than that. He's not really, he's playing as a deep line forward for Bochum and not really scoring goals, so there's not much to say about him. Justin Jevon, another one. He's been around forever. Justin Jevon. They still think he could be good as Jota. I do still like him. Physically fantastic. Technically good. Good determination, good flair. He's down in League One. Maybe we give him another loan and see how he gets on. Chris Mitchell looked like at one stage he was going to be one of our really good centre-halves. Hasn't really developed, has now agreed to go to Middlesbrough. Obviously, we have got Daisen Murashima, who is loan listed. Love him. He's scored a few goals for us now. He's good. We will try and get him a loan as quickly as possible. Chinyan Mustafa, his season is now over. He's picked up quite a bad injury. He's tore his back. We can't recall him, so he's still over in Turkey. But over in Turkey, he's done all right. 25 appearances for Fatihspor over in the second league in Turkey, which is quite good, to be honest. That's not bad for a young lad. Herbie Yetin, Ewan Yetin's cousin. They think he could be good as Sangante. We will make a decision on him. And Harry Bond didn't make it, lads. We were saying for so long, what are we going to do with Harry Bond? So many loans. Tranmere, Fleetwood, Crewe and Peterborough. Can he step up to the Championship would be the next question for him, but his contract is up next season, so when we get him back in the summer, we will look to cash in. He's worth quite a bit, Harry Bond. I do really like him, but we've got better players there now, so that is what it is. Toby Curran, another one we'll probably look to cash in on. Vincent Ibrahim, I want to keep around. I do still think there's a player in there who just needs game time, so we will look that he's never once been loaned out. He's never once been loaned out since he's been here. Daniel Parks now looks awful compared to some of the other strikers we've got in, so we'll cash in on him. Ian Kennedy. Again, Ian Kennedy, I like Ian Kennedy. Where's he been playing? He's out on loan at Solihull, and they're playing him as either a wing. That's what I want. Oh, no, that's me who's done that. Solihull have played him as an inverted winger or a trequartista out on the left-hand side. And do you know what? He's not far off first-team candidate, is he? He's worth about 13 million, Kennedy. Did he come through us? He did. Maybe we cash in on Ian Kennedy and then Corey Rogers, who again came in from United, looked like he was going to be a sensational player, has not really done much since, and has since gone to Laval, and he's getting better. He scored when he played as a winger against Nancy, but he's a wing back really, isn't he? And we use a wing back on attack. So again, just a decision to be made about him. In terms of the first team squad, Kyle Yates is now back. He will be leaving. Kyle Yates, he's not pressed on. He didn't really play for Burton either. So we will look to cash in on him. Charlie Frith is pretty much at his potential now. He's always wanted for loan. He will not be leaving. Danny Gutierrez, look at him. We cancelled his loan at Ipswich and sent him out to Tranmere, and he started every game since he's gone to Tranmere and looks like he's getting better. So another loan's on the cards for him next year. And everyone else we sort of spoke about. Stephanie Ilbudo is another one we've loaned out. Sneakily, and say it quietly, I think he's better than than Charlie Frith, and I think he offers us more of what we need as an attacking wing back on that side. 21 years of age, Burkina Faso international, has played at the AFCON as well. Yeah, maybe Ilbudo becomes one of those players who we keep around, a squad player. If nothing else, we do only really have Borza and Frith who can play at left back. And speaking of Borza, obviously we changed him up to be a wing back on attack. He's now got a couple of player traits. Gets forward whenever possible. He shoots from distance. He's got 14 long shots. Marks opponents tightly, knocks the ball past opponents, and is looking to play 1-2s. He's only just beginning to get to grips with that. If you look, he's got 7 assists in all competitions, including 5 in the Premier League. Beforehand, he had 5 over the course of the last 2 seasons in the Premier League, where 6 and then 7. 7 assists in his 5 years of the so far. 7 assists so far this season. Is still only 24 years of age. We're trying to turn him into like a Leighton Baines style fullback. If only he could take set pieces. I think he looks very Leighton Baines-esque. And if he can start playing 1-2s with the wingers on that left-hand side, we're going to have like a Baines-Pienaar situation with him and Sheldrup. And I believe, actually, Bors has got a relationship with Jota. He has. He's got a fairly decent partnership with Diogo Jota, which is interesting. Very interesting. So yeah, that's the lay of the land. I'm not going to play any games. I just wanted to waffle on so to show you where we're at, what the situation looks like, what we've got coming up. We do have the Europa League quarter-final. We don't know our opponents yet. And then the rest of it's the Premier League. Again, I expect us to drop off. We've got a couple of hard games coming up. Fulham, Man City, Brentford, Tottenham. That will probably decide where we are. Obviously, then we have to think about the Europa League too. So, yeah, I'm going to leave that there. That was your update. You will get an update at the end of the season to see how we got on, to see how the youth players are getting on, if there's any updates to have like we had with our Dean. Oh, Dean Davies. He's going to be Bristol through and through. Oh, that was it. That was what I forgot. I'm on the favour personnel. Yay! It's only taken 5 whole seasons to become 6 whole seasons to go on the favour personnel, and 2 Carabao Cups and a championship playoff victory. It's all it's taken. It's only taken us to have us to make us an established team, hasn't it? And to completely do all the facilities up. It's our youth recruitment that's worse than anything else now, and I'm trying to get that up, but they don't want to do it. So yeah, it is what it is. Thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you all for episode 40. We'll use that as like an end of season one and sort of look back at some of the other players that have been about, so let's see how we are. But for now, take care and thank you very much for watching.